हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, कैसे हैं आप लोग? थिंग्स गोइंग ग्रेट एट योर एंड? आई एम श्योर now as the days are progressing you are gaining confidence in the subject, not only this subject, even other subjects, because we need to pass the entire group as a whole. So it is equally important that we focus on all subjects collectively at the same time. Now it is a time where I believe you all should make a SWOT analysis subject wise, whereby you will identify which subjects are not a very good stronghold of yours. Yes, Preeti, you're right. So you have to make a SWOT analysis as to which subjects are not your strongholds, where you are in a critical position. See, this is still the right time where you can get a good command on those subjects which may not be that weak for the time, that strong for the time being. So now we are still having a decent time to bring ourselves into a comfort zone as far as respective subjects are concerned. This may not be possible after, let us say, end of December. Till that time, it will be too late, because then the main revision part would start after that. Also, students, we have different materials posted on our website. Besides your module, we have the Saransh, we have the MTPs, RTPs. Please make use of all this material. For all practical subjects, use the MTPs, RTPs. Yes, for taxation, it may not be that helpful because it may have been solved by the unamended law, but still, you can refer them of at least past 2 or 3 exams, because that may not have lot of amendments done. So it will be at least giving you a clear picture of how things have to move on. Also, very important, students, you should remember that as professional students, it is very important that you work on strict schedule and in a disciplined manner. Many times I have seen that, especially when students are nowadays post-COVID all online, there is no physical check or control by any teacher, which is not possible because you all are now online. But here it is very important that you inculcate your self-discipline, because for any professional, whether as a student or as a qualified professional, the success is dependent on 5 different factors, and discipline is one of the most important factors. So strict scheduling and following discipline is very, very, very important. So with this small introductory point for today, let us go back to our subject. As you all remember, we are discussing this very simple subject, that is of joint products and byproducts. If you recall, in the previous lecture, we discussed how this joint products, byproducts function. So as I had explained to you all, it is basically continuation of the process costing chapter technically, though in exams they do not give that type of a question, but from the logic point of view, you have to remember that this subject chapter, sorry, is a continuation of process where, as you can see, after few stages of processing, in my example, it is 3, it may be 2, it may be 1, it may be 4. So after few stages of processing, your common input, which was, let us say in this case, crude oil, gets split into different products and you get your final product. Now, these products, if are your main products, we call them as joint products. And if it is waste, but it is having a market, it is recognized in the market as a distinct product and it is sold not as waste or scrap, but as product. Like I gave simple example of grease and the further stage of grease, that is Vaseline. Now these products, since are having a market, these waste are having a market. That is why the companies do not call them as waste. They call them as byproducts. So byproducts are basically the waste arising out of your manufacturing process, but saleable in the market, recognized in the market as a distinct product. For the time being, we have not included byproducts as of now. Let us not complicate things. So we only started with that you have main products, there is no byproduct. Or there is a loss. I'm not saying there can be no loss, but that loss is not a byproduct, it is only a loss. Now, as we discussed, process costing taught us how do you find out the value of output after each processing. So we studied how to prepare process accounts and how to do various workings and find out the final product value or cost at each stage. So you reach the last stage where you are able to find out the cost of your final product, which is now, since this is the last stage, it is actually the final product of the company as well. Now, if this final product is multiple products, not a single product, then it is called as your joint product. So where from common processing, you get more than one output, it is called as joint products. The process in which the raw material, till now you can see we were only processing the same raw material, but the process in which this raw material will get split into various products is technically referred to as the split off point. See, again, it is not technical. It is a simple English usage. Whoever would have devised this concept, he would have also thought of this word only, that, okay, what is happening in this process? My raw material is splitting into multiple products. So let me call this process as the split off process or the split off point. Now, every company is working with the sole perspective of maximizing profit, or at least this is what we presume when we are solving sums. So it always wants to take such decisions that will maximize their profits. Now, a company who is into such type of processing and producing joint products always has this type of a possibility where it can either sell its product immediately at split off point, that is when it got the product divided, or it can further process it and sell it after further processing one or more products. Why they will further process? Because what is the price that the product commands at split off point and what is the price the product commands after further processing will always be different. The product after further processing will always command a higher price. And that is where our decision making comes as to whether I should sell the product immediately at the split off stage or I should further process and sell it after further processing. So this is what is the decision that we are supposed to take. And this is one of the aspects that is asked in the question. Now, the question asks you to do certain things. First, whatever is the total cost of processing of your final product, which you get by the process costing, or simply, as now you would have solved the sums, by simply adding the cost at each stage. If you add the cost that is incurred at each stage, you get the total joint cost. So joint cost is the total cost incurred of all processes up to the split off point. Now, your first role in this chapter is to divide or distribute this joint cost between the joint products. Now, technically, to divide or to distribute is referred to as apportionment. So your first role is to apportion the joint cost. Now, for apportioning, you require some ratio. The ratios are called as the methods of apportionment of joint cost. So you have different ratios. So those different ratios become your different methods. So first thing that you have to do is apportion the joint cost. Then, since we are doing all these workings to ascertain what is the cost of each product and also find out the profit, they will ask you to find out the profits, which may be at the split off stage, or if the product is sold after further processing, you have to find out the profit after further processing. So the second working that may be asked in the question is the profit. And the third working that is asked is the decision making. So these are the three broad questions that are asked in every sum. They may ask all of them, they may ask one or two of them. Now, what are the different methods of apportioning joint cost? Broadly, the methods can be divided into three categories: quantity or units based methods, value based methods, and others. In quantity based methods, you have two methods: input ratio, output ratio. Output method is also called as average cost per unit method, physical units method. So whether you follow the input method or the output method, mathematically the answer is same. That is why all sums that we solve is always by the output method, even though in the theory part they have also given the input method, but that is just for theory. In value method, we have three options. You can take the sales value at the split off stage. You can take the sales value after further processing stage, or you can take the NRV. Now, in the last lecture, before closing the lecture, I had answered the most important question, which is the most appropriate method. The answer is the most appropriate method is this and this. And let me tell you, conceptually, both are same. Both are your value of the product at the split off stage. How? NRV is calculated by this format or formula. You take the sales value after further processing. You deduct the further processing cost, which may be the manufacturing cost, the selling and distribution cost that you incur post further processing, or that you incur for further processing. All those costs are called as further processing costs. And you deduct any profit which is attributable to further processing. Now, generally, this is not given in the sum. So practically for all sums, this is not present. We only deduct the further processing cost from the sales value after further processing. So it is like making a back calculation. You take the sales value, which is the last point after further processing, and come back to find out the value at split off stage. So NRV is mathematically, I'm using the word mathematically, the value calculated of the product at the split off stage. Now, these two are considered as the most appropriate methods because generally the products are different in their nature and value, like petrol, diesel, kerosene are not same in nature, and hence we use different methods, we use different ratios in such a manner that we allocate the appropriate value to the products, and the best measure of the appropriate value is market. That is why we take this sales value method, which is also called as the market value method. Now, in this method should never be used. It is never considered as the appropriate method. Why? Because we want to apportion the cost which is up to the split off point. And if you take the value which is after further processing, there may be a possibility, rather not maybe, there is always this possibility that the value which you are getting after further processing is not the correct measure of the value at split off point. Because of further processing, different products may have different value addition. So taking the value after further processing will not give you a very appropriate answer. Hence, this method should never be adopted. Similarly, units method, very simple, but the drawback of units method is whenever you are using units method, the per unit cost of all products will be same. This is a common point in any chapter wherever you divide the cost in the ratio of units. So when you divide the cost in the ratio of units, mathematically you get the same per unit cost for all the products, which is not appropriate where the products are different in nature. Like petrol, diesel, you can also understand that petrol, diesel, kerosene having same per unit cost is logically absurd. So that is why generally this units method is avoided. Only it is suitable in one case scenario where the products are same. Like I gave example of when you buy marker pen, or for that matter, even your ball pens, the ball pen may come in different colors, even though they are in different colorings. Practically, they are all the same in nature, value. So for such joint products, you can use the physical units method. Otherwise, it is never suggested. So the most appropriate method, which is always to be adopted, is sales value at split off or NRV. Now, besides this, different books have different other methods also. Our module has in theory also given the margin method, which we are also going to study today, but it is not that relevant. It is only asked one or twice. Another method is the method where you appoint an expert. The expert makes all the calculation analysis and the expert gives you a ratio and you apportion the cost in that ratio. Again, this is only a theoretical method, but that is also a method given in the sum. Then we started doing the calculation. First sum we solved by all the methods. In this only the margin method is left, which we'll be doing very soon. And then we discussed that where in the question, they are not asking you to apportion the cost, find profit. All the first three questions are not asked. Directly the fourth question is asked, you give your suggestion, what is to be done. That is, they are only asking decision making. In this case, we should adopt the direct method of decision making. What is this direct method? It is sales value after further processing minus sales value at split off. This gives you the extra revenue that you will earn from doing further processing, that is extra sales. And from that, when you deduct the extra cost that is incurred on further processing, you get a direct comparison. Okay, I'm getting this much extra sales value, and for that, I'm spending this much. So this is the extra benefit of further processing. It is positive. Let me further process. This is the extra sales value I'm getting. This is the extra cost I'm incurring. So effectively, net I am losing. So let me sell this as split off. So this is how the direct method of decision making is useful. Right? Now, let me take you to the sums which I had asked you to solve. Now, some of these sums are, now all our exam sums, some of these are pretty straightforward. Once you understand the concept, the sums are very straightforward. Others also which you may have found tricky, the only trick was in the question language. Otherwise, the sums were simple again. Now, let us take this first sum. Now, in question number 2, let me first find out total joint cost. The joint cost is total of this. So first, the total of this, start giving me figure, students. So the total of joint cost is 35 plus 5.47. So it becomes 41 lakh 37,000. So this is 4137 joint cost. Now, 90% of the sums gives you the method. If the method is not given, I've already suggested which is the best method. It is sales value at split off or NRV. You can adopt any one of them. Now, they have already said that NRV is the method over here. So we need to find out NRV. How we will find out the NRV? They have given you the selling prices. The selling prices is the price where the products are sold at split off or are they further processed? So these are split off prices. Then they have given you further processing prices. So when you multiply units by these prices, you get the sales value after further processing, right? And from that sales value after further processing, when you reduce these costs, you will get your NRV. This NRV becomes the ratio in which you will distribute the cost so that you will get your joint cost. Apportion in the ratio of NRV. I think somebody has given me the joint cost apportion in NRV. Yes. So Hardik has given me, I'm just copying what he has written. So on the basis of NRV, the joint cost breakup which I'm getting is 2989,162. This is for the first product. 286960. This is for the second product. 199277. This is for third product. Then 159,422 fourth product and 107,6098 fifth product. I hope all others are also getting the same amounts for joint cost. on the basis of NRV, right? Somebody saying no. Dilip beta, you are not getting it means something is wrong in your NRV then. See, what is NRV? NRV is 37,50,000. NRV is 36 lakhs, 25 lakhs, 20 lakhs, and 1350 lakhs. So this is NRV. And in this ratio, when you divide 41,37,000, you get this as the joint cost. Fine. The next thing is we have to find out the answers for profits. First answer is find out profit where none of the products are further processed. It means I have to find out profit at split off point. Second is I have to find out profit after further processing. And then the third part is on the basis of these profits, obviously I can take the decision. So I'm sure you all would have got this particular answer. This is a pretty decent one. Okay. Oh, I got a different joint cost. Nitin is saying joint cost over here is 2,625,000. Is this correct? Nitin is sharing this as the joint cost. Students, help me with the right answer. So Nitin has given a different joint cost amount. Preeti has got the original one. Students, is this the ratio that you have taken? Yes, Hardik Beda.
Sir, NRV sir 37,50,000, 3,60,000.
Okay, 360, fine.
250, 2
250.
lakh, 2 lakh
Sorry.
and 13,50,000. Yes sir,
Okay.
यही रेशियो है, यही आया सर.
So 3750, 3,60,000,
Yes
2
sir.
lakh 50, 2 lakhs.
Yes sir,
Right?
and 13,50,000.
Correct. So students, जिनका अलग आंसर था, Nitin, what is your NRV, beta? Please check whether you have taken NRV first and whether NRV is this. Because if NRV is different, obviously the answers will be different. दिलीप बेटा आप चेक करो एनआरवी क्या लिया है आपने. If your NRV is not correct, your answer will not be correct. You all may have taken the sales value itself as the ratio instead of NRV. नितिन बेटा एनआरवी सेम है मगर जैसे अभी हार्दिक ने बताया ये 36 lakhs नहीं है 3,60,000 है. तो आपका रेशियो क्या आएगा. आपका रेशियो आएगा अगर आपने 3,750 रेशियो लिया है तो इधर 360 रहेगा. यहाँ पे गलती क्या होती है. हम इसको और इसको जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे लिखते वक्त 36 lakhs लिखा क्योंकि किसी ने मेरे को रेशियो वैसा ही दिया था. तो वो आपका गलत हो गया. ये रेशियो 3750 है और ये 360 है. So please check the ratio. Fine. Okay. So students, tell me what is the decision, which product is to be sold at split off and which one has to be further processed. Ajay Surya, I did not get your point. So students, this is what is shared by Nitin. नितिन बेटा आपका रेशियो देखो, आपने क्या लिया है? आपने लिया है 37.5 एंड 36। यही तो गलत है। ये 375 और 36 है बेटा। ये भी आपका 13.5 गलत है बेटा। इधर देखो 37,50,000 है और 3,60,000 है, तो ये 37.5 और 36 कैसे हो सकता है? आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट नितिन? ये होगा 375 और ये होगा 36 और आखिरी वाला होगा 135। So decision is FP, SP, FP, SP, FP. This is the decision. Fine, students. Let us proceed. What is this sum? Explorer is in the course of refining crude oil obtained from 4 products. The joint products are ABCD. Cost incurred till the split off point is this. So this is your joint cost. Output and sales are output, sales, and further processing costs. Now they have not mentioned which sales this is, but this is the sales after further processing. How we understand this? If you read the question below, what it says, this question, what is the net income if it decides to sell the product at split off point at this price? So this also shows that this is the sales after further processing. Fine. Now, what is the method that is asked over here? They are asking you to find out net income on the basis of NRV. So again, Hardik has given me NRV. I'm writing down the NRV. It is 85,000. It is 4,000. Again, it is 4,000. And it is 29,000. So ratio is 85:4:4:29. On the basis of this ratio, I will get the joint cost, which again Hardik shares as 68,000, 3,200, 3,200, 23,200. So on the basis of NRV, this is the joint cost that I'm getting. And once I get this joint cost, now I'll find out both the profits. Just remember that the sequence is first question asks you profit after further processing. The second question asks you profit at split off. Normally, we are used to first finding profit at split off, then after further processing. But please, students, go by the sequence of the sum. It is very important that you solve in the right sequence. Only then you will be allotted the appropriate marks. If your sequence is wrong, the examiner has all the rights not to give you marks. Is this fine? Again, the profits given by Hardik after further processing is so 17,800, 800, 5,800. Bhavana beta, how can you ask me this question? If you ask me how NRV is calculated beta now, what will I do? Tell me. How do we calculate NRV? Sales value after further processing minus further processing cost is NRV beta. Yes, Hardik.
सर सी फर्दर प्रोसेस नहीं हुआ, सिर्फ ए बी एंड डी है।
Yes बेटा, मगर प्रॉफिट तो आपको सबका फाइंड आउट करना पड़ता है ना।
सर वो तो सेम ही है 800।
Yes, but that you have to compute. So भले जब आपको फर्दर प्रोसेसिंग का भी प्रॉफिट पूछते हैं तो आपको उस प्रोडक्ट को भी तो आप बेचोगे ना जो फर्दर प्रोसेस नहीं हुआ है।
नहीं सर, क्वेश्चन नहीं स्पेसिफिकली बोला ए बी डी।
नहीं बेटा, प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड वन थिंग. व्हाट इज द क्वेश्चन? कैलकुलेट द नेट इनकम ऑफ ईच प्रोडक्ट इफ A, B, D are further processed. इसका मतलब सी तो हो ही नहीं सकता ना, मगर प्रॉफिट तो आपको हर प्रोडक्ट का ही देना पड़ेगा ना बेटा।
ओके सर।
रिमेंबर दिस, कभी भी वो लोग उस प्रोडक्ट को नहीं छोड़ने वाले, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली आपको बाद में कंपनी का भी प्रॉफिट पूछते हैं। जैसा हम इसका टोटल करेंगे तो कंपनी प्रॉफिट आएगा, आप समझो इधर कंपनी प्रॉफिट पूछा रहता
यस
तो
सर।
क्या आप अभी 800 नहीं लिखते थे? लिखना ही पड़ेगा ना।
यस सर।
सो
ठीक है सर।
रिमेंबर वन थिंग, आपको पूछा है क्या? कंप्यूट द नेट इनकम ऑफ ईच ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट्स, ईच बोला है ना, इधर एबीसीडी नहीं बोला है। आगे कंडीशन दिया है कि जिसमें से मैंने एबीडी को सिर्फ फर्दर प्रोसेस किया है, तो सी को नहीं किया है, बट उसका भी तो प्रॉफिट लिखना ही पड़ेगा ना।
ठीक है सर।
ठीक है।
यस सर।
ओके।
सर इसका भी है प्रॉफिट्स। सर 7,000, 1,800, 800, 3,800।
7,000,
एटीन
1,800,
हंड्रेड, 800,
800 और
3,800।
3,800।
यस सर।
अब इस सब में डिसीजन नहीं पूछा है तो हम डिसीजन वाला वर्किंग में अपना टाइम स्पेंड नहीं करेंगे। ठीक है। Now students, next question is, a company operates a chemical process where you get four products KLMN from a basic raw material. Again, the total of this is your joint cost, right? And these are your further processing cost, जिसमें वापस L further process नहीं हो रहा है. Again, this sales will be obviously sales after further processing. Okay, Preeti is saying joint cost is 50,000. Fine. Now, I need to apportion the joint cost. What is the method given? The company intends to sell at split off remaining KLMR further process. Management been advised it would be possible to sell the four products at split off. So split off पे बेचा तो आपका selling price at split off ये है. Okay. Joint costs are apportioned on the basis of sales value at split off. तो आपका जो सेल्स वैल्यू एट स्प्लिट ऑफ आएगा उस रेशियो में जॉइंट कॉस्ट को अपॉर्शन करना। सो जॉइंट कॉस्ट अपॉर्शन यहाँ पे एनआरवी में नहीं होगा, यहाँ पे होगा सेल्स वैल्यू एट स्प्लिट ऑफ में। वापस सेलिंग प्राइस के रेशियो में मत करना, सेलिंग प्राइस में कभी नहीं करते, आपको सेल्स वैल्यू एट स्प्लिट ऑफ पॉइंट निकालना है बाय मल्टीप्लाइंग द प्राइस बाय द क्वांटिटी, सो यू गेट द सेल्स वैल्यू, और उस रेशियो में डिवाइड करोगे तो आपको जॉइंट कॉस्ट आएगा। अगेन द आंसर गिवन टू मी, Hardik has given me this answer of joint cost: 32,000, 2,800, 8,000, 7,200. This is the figure of joint cost. Now, second question is product wise profit. Also the company's profit when the products are further processed. Students, be question specific. आप भले पहले स्प्लिट ऑफ का प्रॉफिट निकालना चाहोगे या लॉजिकली पहले वो आएगा, बट क्वेश्चन के हिसाब से आपको आंसर देना है। सो नाउ दे आर आस्किंग यू प्रॉफिट विच इज आफ्टर फर्दर प्रोसेसिंग, सो यू विल गिव दैट प्रॉफिट फर्स्ट। सो योर फर्स्ट आंसर हैज टू बी प्रॉफिट आफ्टर फर्दर प्रोसेसिंग, करेक्ट? Okay, so the answer that I am given is 48,800, 2,800, 6,000, 7,800. These are the profits after further processing. इसका टोटल किया तो आपका टोटल बजटेड प्रॉफिट या कंपनी प्रॉफिट आ जाएगा। देन इन द सेकेंड पार्ट आई एम रिक्वायर्ड टू फाइंड आउट अल्टरनेटिव स्ट्रेटेजी टू सेल द प्रोडक्ट्स एट स्प्लिट ऑफ पॉइंट। इसका प्रॉफिट निकालना है। तांबेश्वरी बेटा, आई विल डेफिनेटली सॉल्व द सम, but can I also request you that you solve the sum first? And also, beta, this is a repeated question. So I'm not spending time because I solve each and every sum, then I'll miss on the important sums and the further concepts. So, beta, what is very mechanical, I'm directly writing the answers. Now, the next question, which is going to be a different question, I will be solving the whole question. But if I start solving each and every question, beta, then I may not be able to complete the topic and the important concepts. So, beta, is it not a very basic type of sum? And also I'm explaining each step. The only thing is that the figures after calculation I'm taking from your own responses, right? The profits given to me at split off is 32,000, 2,800, 8,000, 7,200. So these are the profits at split off point. This is the next answer. And then finally, again, you have to suggest any alternative strategy that is simple. You can compare these profits. So your answer would be the first should be further process. This anyways cannot be further process. So split off. Here again, you will say split off because split off is giving higher profit. And here it would be further process. So my alternate strategy in this case would be further process, split off, further process. Right? So see, these two questions are straightforward questions with no special effects. The special effect comes in this question, which is question number 5. Now here you have to be very careful. Careful means when you read the question, you have to be more attentive, even though the answer is actually simple. But mainly figuring out what the question says, that is the crucial point. Only then you will get the right answer. So let me read the question for everyone. What it says, in a chemical manufacturing company, 3 products ABC will emerge at the split off point. And what is this split off point? It is department P. Read the question carefully, because until unless you read the question carefully, you will not get the answer. So the answer emanates from the careful reading of the question. So the careful reading of the question is, there are 3 products which you get at the split off point, and the split off point is department P. Now, it says that product A, the first product that has emerged, will be further processed in department Q. Next, B product will be further processed in R. C product will be further processed in S. So in this table, this department is your split off stage. So your first department is the split off stage. And in all these departments, you are doing further processing of each product. In this, product A is further processed. In this, product B is further processed. In this, product C is further processed. So this is how this question is framed. Now, once you get this particular question framing, then comes the further step, because for the first time it has happened that I have to do some calculation for each department, because I need to find out the joint cost also. I need to find out the further processing cost also. For this, I need to understand the question structure. Now, what does the question says further? There is no loss. Okay, that is good. And the cost data for the month is as under. Raw material which is introduced in the first department, raw material cost is given. Wages paid or incurred in all the departments is given. And then overheads commonly is given. And they have mentioned how to charge these overheads. It is said that it is charged on the basis of direct wages. So please, students, understand this is the first question where I have to do something like process costing, maybe not in the process costing format, because they have kept that simple over here because we did not want to invest your time in that. But the point is, this is the first question where you go to the processes first, find out the cost of each process, and then you come to joint product byproduct working. So on the basis of this data, I'll first find out the cost department wise, because then these costs will become the starting point of my further workings. So this is question 5. Nitin Beda, could you solve this? statement showing cost of each department. Okay. Anybody was able to solve this sum? Particulars. Names of the departments are Department P, Q, R, S. So these are your department students. These are not your products. Products are ABC. But for the first time, we have got a question where we have to do costing of each department. Okay, Preeti, number jumble ho gaye. Okay. See, that is always the catch. See, in costing FM, the biggest issue one is understanding the question. Second is there is so much of data that you have to be very careful when you are solving so that you do not mix up or jumble up between the numbers. But even if there is a loss, makes no difference. We have studied process costing. The cost of loss will be absorbed in the product only. So that will not create any big problem even if there is a loss. Now, raw material, direct wages, factory overheads, which is in ratio of direct wages. Right? Wow, Dilip has given me answer. Good. Now, raw material cost is 1268,800. So it means Dilip, you have already solved it. That's good. Then wages 384.96. 384.96. 64.36. 64.36. These are the wages of each department. Now, factory overheads has to be divided in this ratio only. So the ratio is 384 is to 96 is to 64 is to 36. In this ratio, I will divide the factory overheads of 4,64,000. So students, give me the values. See students, it is a request that when we are taking a practical subject like costing or FM, or even taking a practical sums in subjects like accounts or tax, it is expected that you all sit with your notebooks and calculators and pen, and you all simply do not only watch what the faculty is doing, but also solve parallelly. If you do that, then later on solving the questions by yourself would be easy. If you only wait for the faculties to solve and you only see the answers, it will not help. Okay, so the breakup which I have got from many students, firstly, the first person to give me the breakup is Sania. So I'm taking her answer. Maybe others can just cross check. So the figures that Sania has given me for factory overheads breakup is 3,07,200, 76,800, 51,200, 28,800. Now, when I make a total of this, which was already shared very start initially by Dilip, I am taking that amount. Others may cross check. So this is 1960. This is 172,800. This is 115,200. And this is 64,800. So these are the figures which Dilip had given me. I request all to just cross check. Sukhveer, beta, what figures you have given are not matching with my figures, beta. So Sukhveer, beta, please confirm what figures you want to give. Yes, all those who have given me their figures are majorly correct. भावना से सर फर्स्ट का 1959 200 आ रहा है. नहीं बेटा 200 तो आ ही नहीं सकता ना, ये 800 प्लस 200 यही 00 होना है. आपने शायद इधर का 800 नहीं लिखा है. Now Once I've got this, what did I get? This is my joint cost because this is the split off process. This is further processing cost for A. This is further processing cost for B. This is further processing cost for C. Right, students? Good, Nitin. Yes, Preeti. So, please understand, student, ये सम पूरा पिछले सम्स जैसा ही है, सिर्फ इस सम में एक एक्स्ट्रा स्टेप बढ़ गया है, वो है ये. That is, we have to first find out the cost of the departments and then now we will proceed to our joint cost workings. So अब तक तो हमने joint cost का कोई working शुरू ही नहीं किया, अगर मैंने डेटा भी नहीं पढ़ा क्योंकि इस समय ये एक एडिशनल पार्ट था. Now the joint cost working starts. What it says, during the month under the reference, the company sold all the three products after further processing the same. So ये जो डेटा है ये further processing का है. Selling prices are given. So you can find out sales value also after further processing by multiply. ठीक है. Then if these products are sold at split off, these are the selling prices. So selling prices split off के भी दिए हैं. So you can find out sales value after means at split off point by multiplying by these sales prices. Now, ध्यान से पढ़िए students. The question is saying show statement apportioning the joint cost. Fine. Obviously, the first step has to be this. But my point is, what method is the company following? Is the method given? Has the question given the method for apportioning joint cost? So in fact, the beauty of this sum is that this sum has two special points. One, you have to first find out the cost of each process so that you can find out your joint cost and the further processing cost. Second, important point of this sum is they have not given the name of the method. Now, when the name of the method is not given, what I explained in the last lecture and also repeated today, the best method has to be followed. And in the best method, as we all know, the preference is to sales value at split off or even to NRV, because both are considered as the most appropriate methods. You can select any one of them and you can mention it as a note that we are solving it by this method. So if I take sales value at split off as my method, so firstly I'll find out the sales value at split off. These are the selling prices. I'll multiply it by quantity sold. So I will get the sales value at split off. It comes to 44 into 20. So it is 8,80,000. 40 into 20, again 8,80,000. And 20 into 10, so it is 2 lakhs. So these are my sales value at split off. So my ratio is 880 is to 8. Ratio is 880 is to 880 is to 200. In this ratio, I will apportion the joint cost. And what is the joint cost? The joint cost is this amount. So statement of joint cost apportionment method not given. So we have taken sales value at split off. So my joint cost in the ratio of sales value at split off will be 880, 880, 200. Right? Huh? Okay. So the joint cost which I'm getting is 880, 880 and 2 lakhs. So this figure divided in this ratio gives me this answer, correct? Correct, students? Now, this is the first part of my answer. Now I go to the second part. What is the second part given in the question? Again, they are asking you to find out product wise and total profit for this month under reference as per company's current policy. Now, this is again interesting. They have not specifically mentioned which profit, split off or further process. But in the language, they have said that you have to follow the company's current policy and give the profits. What is the company's current policy? When you read the question carefully, you will get the answer what the company is presently doing. See, here in this para, I get the answer. During the month under reference, the company sold these products after further processing. So indirectly, in the second part, no, Kasa, company is not following split off. See, I have marked this. Preeti, but I did not get your question. Would you like to unmute and explain what you want to say? So, the company's policy is they are selling the products after further processing. So, now the profit that I have to find out here as per company's policy means profit after further processing. Then they are asking what processing decision should be taken. So I'll also find out profit at split off so that I can do my decision making. And then fourth point is calculating the product profit and total profit as per the recommendation. So this is how the working has to be done. So this was my answer part 1. Now my answer part 2. Statement showing profit as per current policy. So I also use the same language. So particulars A, B, C. Now what is the current policy? It is further processing. So we take sales value after further processing minus joint cost that we have apportioned minus further processing cost. So I will get profit after further processing. Now for decision making, I'll first find out profit at split off point, same format. This will be sales value at split off point minus the joint cost which we have apportioned. So I will get profit at split off. And then by simply comparing the profit, I will also take the decision. Okay, so I'm having something in the chat. Sir, in NRV, if you distribute joint product in decimals, so can we say that we check it? No, but I see. Getting answer in whole figures or decimals cannot be the deciding factor. Anyways, you always have an option when both values are given the sum sales value at split off and NRV which you can calculate. You always have an answer. Okay, good. So Bhavna has given me some answer. So my sales value, I'll first put down this because this is readily available. And also interestingly, my joint cost is also same. So effectively, there is nil profit in all the products at the split off stage. Now, after further processing, the profits that Bhavna has given me is 355, 200, 35, 200. Bhavna is saying is loss, and 55, 200. Now, decision making. Here there is profit, here it is nil, so decision is FP. At FP there is loss, and at SP it is nil, so better is SP. Again profit and nil, so FP. So the answer is this. Please check and confirm, everyone, if you are getting the same values. Good. Philip is saying yes. Others, please confirm. Okay, so Rachna says yes, same. Hardik says same. Sania same. Preeti says profit as per current policy different आ रहा है मेरे को. बाप रे, तेरे को डिफरेंट आ रहा है, तो अभी मेरे को सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा ना. पर ऐसा कैसे चलेगा बेटा? डिफरेंट कैसे आ रहा है तेरे को? नहीं आना चाहिए था डिफरेंट. सिंपल फिगर्स है बेटा. आप अगर गलत फिगर्स लोगे तो कैसे आएगा? व्हाट इज सेल्स वैल्यू आफ्टर फर्दर प्रोसेसिंग? आपने निकाला क्या? 32 इंटू दिस, 24 इंटू दिस, 16 इंटू दिस. वो सेल्स वैल्यू निकालो. फर्दर प्रोसेसिंग कॉस्ट मेरे पास यहाँ पे निकाला हुआ है 172,800, 115,800, sorry 200, and 64,800, and then take the sales value. क्यों आना चाहिए बेटा अलग? फाइन. आगे बढ़े. I hope all questions up to this point are clear. Now direct method के दो sums थे, जिसमें से the complicated one, seventh one, we solved in the class. The previous one is simple, straightforward. You have to directly take the values given. They have given you sales value after further sales value at split off. You subtract both these, and then whatever is the difference of both these, that is what is extra revenue. From that you subtract this, which is the extra cost. You get net benefit. Wherever it is positive, your answer is further process. Wherever it is negative, your answer is split off. Now, same type of sum like the previous ones, where nothing is special. Again, you are given the joint cost. You are given the data relating to selling prices both after further processing and at split off. And simply the question asks you to do apportionment of joint cost. What is the method? NRV method. Second, profit, and find out how much there is net increase if your strategy is adopted. So you can always find out the difference and give the answer. Now, this is slightly different. So let me take this sum. So 9 sum students, I want you all to apply your brains and solve. It is actually simple, but the question, the format of giving question is different. So I give you 5 minutes, apply, and find out how you will do it. Wow, Kasak, good answer, beta. Now, see, students, what is wrong generally? Wrong is our approach. How? Yes, Dilip, very good, beta. What happens, students, is that when we see a question and we find some catchy words like joint cost, joint products, immediately our mind switches to the format of that sum which we have practiced, like apportioning joint cost. Then immediately my mind goes to, okay, methods, physical unit, sales value, then profit and decision. And then we are a bit biased while reading the question itself. Now, when we read the question with a preconceived mindset that, okay, this is a joint cost question because the word joint cost, joint products is written, and it is solved in this three, four formats. When I start reading the sum, I try to fit the sum in the format. And this is where we are wrong. See, 75% to 80% of your sums are formatted. Agreed. Till now, I'm sure whatever topics you have studied, you will find that every topic 75-80% sums are replica with only slight changes, like how we have solved so many sums. Only in that fifth sum had a slight change, that also their extra working was required. So same thing happens in every subject, accounts, FM, and costing, that major format is same, only one or two workings here and there change. But this happens in 75 to 80% sums. But then in the 20-25% sums, which are the tricky ones, which we call as the difficult ones, they are not difficult. If you see, this sum is actually very easy. The problem is we are looking at the sum with the same mindset, with the same glasses. That is, it will be solved in that format. And that is where we are not able to solve it. Rather, many times we find this is a common complaint I get, ki, sir, I don't know how to start the sum. The problem is not you don't know how to start the sum. The problem is you are not coming out of that fixed mindset, which you have kept, ki, okay, the sums will be solved in this manner only. Yes, 75-80% sums are solved in that manner. But this sum has some difference. And that is where you have to be very particular in reading the questions. Now, having said this, let me tell you in exams how you should approach, because see, ultimately all your focus comes and boils down to exams. See, our exam papers are also following this same pattern of 75-25 or 80-20, where 75% of the sums are repeated format sums. 25% sums are some novel sums which require a different approach. Now, maybe in exams, if I'm not good very much at solving the odd type of sums, what I will do is I will simply go to the questions and I will start solving the 75% paper first by keeping the page blank for those subparts, because every question has subparts. You may be knowing two subparts, but not the other two. You may be knowing three, but not the fourth one. So whatever it is, I will solve the sums. How? By first taking those sums which I know, maybe because I'm good at the formatted sums, but not at the different type of sums. And after I complete those 70-75% sums, then I will come back and I will try to select out of the remaining those 3-4 sums which are left. Out of these 3-4 sums, which topic I'm more good at. So let us say I'm more good at overheads as compared to material. Now both questions are there, overheads also, materials also, with some tricky part. So now I'll first go to overhead sum. Then if I'm left with time, I'll go to material sum. If I left with time, I'll go to standard costing sum. So this is always the correct approach in the exams. So 75% paper is of sums like we had above. Same type of sums repeated with change in figure, slight one or two adjustments, different here and there. So your approach should be correct and clear. So I will always solve those sums which are repeated type, formatted types first, leaving the space blank, one or two pages blank for the different type of sums, which I find different, may not click immediately in exams, right? Remember this, follow this. And now the most important point, that yes, 75-80% sums are solved by the format, but those 25% sums which are different, now remove the specs of the rigid format that is applicable to all sums and try to look at this sum independently, unbiased. So I'll do that to find out if somehow I can solve this sum. So what is this sum saying? JB Limited produces 4 products ABCD, all of which emerge from the processing of one raw material. The relevant data is production for the period, joint products, number of units, selling prices. The company budgets that the profit will be 10% of sales. So interestingly here, see, normally we find profit. Here they have given profit because here something else is required. So the company has already said that they earn profit of 10% on sales. The other cost estimates are carriage inward, direct wages, and overheads. So wages is given, overheads is given, carriage inwards is given. Something is missing. Also, they have given you administration. So everything is given. Sales, profit, administration, manufacturing, all things are given. What is missing is the raw material cost. And that is what they have asked. Calculate the maximum price that the company may pay for raw material. In other words, they've asked you to find out the raw material cost. Now, how will I do that? I will do it not by the regular format of this chapter because this chapter format helps me to find out profit, which is already known. Here they want me to find out raw material. So I will follow cost sheet and it is like going backward. Normally, how cost sheet starts: raw material, wages, prime cost, overheads, profit, sales. Now here I have all data and the material cost is missing. So yes, Bhavna, you're right. So I'll go backward. I'll start with sales. I'm given the selling prices, right? I'm given the units and selling prices. I'll multiply, I'll get the sales value. So I'll find out sales value of each product and I'll make total. So I'll get total sales. From this, I'll subtract the profit, which is at the rate of 10% of this total sales, right? So I get what? I get my total cost, which is called as cost of sales. Again, I go backward. I will deduct administrative overheads, which is again 10% of total sales value. Then I'll go backward. I'll deduct manufacturing overheads, which is given 2000. I'll go backward. I'll deduct direct wages, which is given 3000. Also, I'll deduct carriage inwards, which is given 1000. So what I'm left with is my raw material cost. Yes, Nitin, you're right. Are you getting this, students? So just someone tell me how much is, yes, Tambeshwari, but you are also right. Someone tell me what is the total sales value so that I can fill in the blanks. 20,000. Good. Now the total sales value of all products combined is 20,000. So 10% of this comes to 2,000. So cost is 18,000. 10% of this is again 2,000. So 18 minus 2 minus 2 minus 3 minus 1. Correct? 448. So I get the first part of my answer. That is the maximum price which I can pay for the raw material. Correct? Very good, Bhalchandra. Now they are asking you to prepare cost statement for each product. How? They want you to allocate material and other costs based on two methods: number of units and sales value. So statement showing joint cost. What are your products? Your products are A, B, C, D. Now see, what is your total joint cost? Your total joint cost is 18,000. First method, in ratio of units. Second method, joint cost in ratio of sales value. So 18,000, I divide firstly in this ratio, 5:9:4:2. Correct? And then the second ratio is the sales value ratio, where you have already computed the individual sales values. Correct? So by this method, the joint cost that I will get is 5,000, 9,000, 4,000, 2,000. This will be in this ratio. And then you already have the individual sales value. You distribute the cost in the sales value, you will get the second answer. I hope this is clear. Is this clear to all students? Good. So let us proceed further. Now we have a byproduct sum. So let me take you to the byproduct concept. Tambeshwar is asking 10 multiple किससे किया? बेटा 10 मल्टीपल नहीं किया बेटा मैंने. मेरा जॉइंट कॉस्ट कितना है? 18,000 है. मैंने इस रेशियो में डिवाइड कर दिया. आप भी करो 18,000 इस रेशियो में डिवाइड, तो ये आपको ये आंसर देगा. देन आपने जो मल्टीप्लाई किया तो आपको हर एक का सेल्स वैल्यू आया. उस रेशियो में डिवाइड करो, आपको दूसरा आंसर आ जाएगा. बिकॉज दे हैव आस्क्ड मी टू सॉल्व इट बाय टू मेथड्स. एक बार यूनिट से, एक बार सेल्स वैल्यू से. करेक्ट अम्बेश्वरी? Okay, students, now let us go to the byproduct category. But before I go to the main sum, let me give you a simple sum on byproduct. Now we are going to discuss something about the byproduct, that when you have a byproduct, what is the cost treatment? Now what is this? You have a common raw material. You did processing on this in different stages. So you got your final product, which may be, let us say, 3 different products: petrol, diesel, kerosene. But in this processing, you also got loss, which is also a product, which is grease. Now, even though this is a manufacturing loss, for you it is a waste, but in the market it is sellable as a product. So these are your main products. And since they are more than one, we call these main products as joint products, because they are multiple products, 2-3 products. So obviously more than one product, we call it as joint products. This actually is a loss, but since it is sold in market as a product, we call it as byproduct. Now, interestingly, you can sell the grease as it is in the same stage, or you can further process and make it Vaseline. Like how you can further process petrol, make it speed, how you can further process diesel, make it power. This cannot be further processed. So, 2 joint products can be further processed, and even you can further process the waste to make a higher range product, that is Vaseline. See, this is a real life example. Now, when this byproduct comes into picture, the question is, what we do of the byproduct in costing? Now, what is the treatment of byproducts? This is what we are going to discuss, and then on that basis, we solve the sum. Now for this, what does costing principles or costing concept says? You have to check whether this byproduct has significant sales value or the byproduct has nominal sales value. Again, I'm saying value, not price. How do you know whether the sales value is significant or nominal? Significant means it is a decent amount. How do you know significant? Compare it with the sales value that you are getting of main product. If the sales value of the byproduct is similar, near to sales value of main products, we say the sales value is significant. Think logically. If my main product is giving me sales value of 2 lakhs and the byproduct is giving me sales value of 1,50,000, 1,20,000. So for me, it is as good as the main product because the sales value is significant. But if my main product is giving me sales value of 2 lakhs and byproduct is giving only 10,000, 20,000, then we say it is nominal. Now, where the sales value is significant, so it is as good as a main product for me. That is, it is also treated as one of my joint products. But where the sales value is negligible, then for me it is loss or scrap. So what is the treatment of the byproduct? Either it is treated as your main product only, or it is treated as your scrap. But how to decide the treatment? That depends upon what is the sales value of this byproduct compared to sales value of your main products. So comparatively, a byproduct has a decent sales value. We will say that, okay, forget it is waste, forget it is byproduct, let us call it as main product. If the sales value is actually very negligible, then for us, it is as good as scrap. Now you will say, sir, what difference it makes? The difference is, if it is main product, we will charge joint cost even to the byproduct like the main product, which means that my joint cost will be divided in all the 4 products using the same ratio. So I will forget that G is my byproduct. I will apportion the joint cost to all 4. So we'll remove this word byproduct from G. We will remove this word scrap from G. We will start calling G as the main product. The moment you start calling G as the main product, automatically you will start charging or dividing. Charge means apportion. So like how you are apportioning your joint cost in your main products, you will now include the byproduct as main product and in the same ratio. So where you are using units ratio, in units ratio, where you are using sales value ratio, where you are using NRV ratio, the same ratio now you'll use for all 4 because now byproduct is your main product. This is your treatment. Second, byproduct is having a insignificant, that is very nominal sales value. So now I'll treat the byproduct as what it is, scrap. So I'll treat it as scrap. Now what will happen? The joint cost which you are having from this, you will subtract the NRV of the byproduct, like what we do of any scrap. Recall process costing. What you do of scrap? Whatever scrap value you get, it is deducted from your total cost. And then the balance cost, what is left, is charged to your products. Same thing we do. We deduct the sale value, the net realizable value of byproduct from the total joint cost so that I get the net joint cost. And this joint cost, net joint cost, is now apportioned only to main products, like what we have been doing. So byproduct is a waste. This is my treatment. So what you do of waste or scrap in costing, you subtract the realizable value, sale value, scrap value. Do that from your cost, which is the joint cost. Reduce the scrap value of the byproduct. So your cost is reduced. And this cost you will charge only to the three main products in whatever ratio you select. This is how byproducts are treated in costing. So this is the theory part. Also, it is used in practical. Generally, very rarely they ask byproduct sums, but still you can expect byproduct sums. So first theory also you need to know, and this is the theory part which I've explained diagrammatically. Now we will see the practical part of this. But firstly, is this clear to everyone? Anybody has any questions or doubts? No? Should I proceed? So before I go to the main sum of the byproduct, let me take a very simple sum which I have created for practice purposes. So what is this sum? This is not an exam sum. Exam sum upar tha. We'll come to that. What is this sum? The output and details of different products emerging at the split off point is quantity, further processing cost, and selling price. Of these products, A, B, D are joint products. C is your byproduct. So we all know now that C is my byproduct. The total joint cost at split off point is 20 lakhs. And the method that you select or you use for apportioning joint cost is the physical units method. Now what they are doing is same. You have to find out cost of each product, but under both the options. So again, we solve this sum by both the options so that we have a comparative difference. What is this? First, C, which is your byproduct, has to be treated as main product. Second, C, which is your byproduct, has to be treated as scrap. Now, if C, that is byproduct, has to be treated as main product, what you will do, you will forget C is a byproduct, you will charge, you will apportion joint cost to all products, including the byproduct, right? So in this question, what is the question number? 15A. So in my 15A, what is the treatment that is proposed? Byproduct is treated as main product. That is joint product. So for us, byproduct is same like joint product. Now what we'll do? Statement showing apportionment of joint cost particulars A, B, C, D. Joint cost. What is the ratio they have given? Ratio of physical units, right? 45, 42, 10, 25. 45, 42, 10, 25. Yes. Now, what is my joint cost? My joint cost given is 20 lakh rupees. So apportion this joint cost, students, in this ratio. Tell me what you get. Students, tell me how much is the joint cost figure apportioned in this ratio. Joint cost figure given in the sum is 20 lakhs. You have to apportion it in the ratio of physical units. I've given you the ratio. Students, I'm waiting for your answers. What happened? Okay, well, I've given the answers. Then why I could not see the message? भावना बेटा एनआरवी के बेसिस पे नहीं करना था because the question is clear. It is only on physical units method. Okay, so the first answer that I have is of Tambeshwari. So the answer that Tambeshwari has given to me is joint cost apportioned on this basis is 737 688,524 then 166 no 163 934 and 409,836. Students, okay, others have same answers. Fine, great. So first treatment is in part A, the question says treated as main product. Now we go to the second treatment. In part B, it says treat the byproduct as scrap. Now, if it is scrap, you don't charge cost to scrap. So now cost will be charged only to main products. But for this, we will not apportion the complete joint cost. We will apportion the net joint cost. How do you get this net joint cost? It is your joint cost minus NRV of byproduct, which is C. Now, what is your joint cost? It is 20 lakhs minus NRV of C. Now, what is given about C? Further processing cost is 2,000. The output, which is 10,000, can be sold at rupees 6. So 10,000 at rupees 6. This is sale value minus 2,000, which is the further processing cost. So this is the NRV. So what is my net joint cost? 20 lakhs minus this is 48,000. So I get 19 lakhs 52,000. And this I will apportion only between the three products, which are the main products. Now here I will ignore C because C is now not considered as a product. It is considered as scrap. And what we do of scrap we have done, we have reduced the scrap value from the cost. And now the balance cost is divided or charged to your main products. So now try to link it with your process costing. You will find similarity because the logic is same. Right, students? It is 1942. Sorry, not 52, students. Thanks for the correction. Yes, Tambeshwari, thank you for the correction. Bhavna, Kasak, you are right. So I'm getting answers. The first answer given to me is by Pranav. The answer given by Pranav is the joint cost which I'm getting is 784, 286, 732, 000, 435, 714. Please cross check. Yes, but it may be different. I just wrote what I got the first answer from Pranav. If it is different, I'll change it. I think Pranav solved it by the first figure which I had put. Yes. So that is why the answer of Pranav is different. Okay. So it is 780, 268. Then it is 728, 250. And it is 433, 482. Okay. Perfect. Fine, students. Yes, but right. So that was my mistake. I wrongly put 1952 because of which Pranav made that calculation. Okay. So let us proceed. Now let us go back to the sum, which is of like this, understanding what we got in this sum. So what it says, a firm has three joint products, ABC, and a byproduct X, which is emerging from a processing a common stock of material. The cost is 8. The details of output, market price, and initial processing cost of 10,000 kgs of raw material is this. Okay, so I also have to find out the joint cost. Have they given me the initial processing cost? Okay, this is the initial processing cost data. So I'll find out my joint cost first. So question 10. Calculation of joint cost. It is raw material plus initial processing cost. How much is raw material? 8 into 10,000. So 10,000 kgs into 8 per kg is rupees 80,000. Labor 1,000 at rupees 20. So it is 20,000. Overheads 80%. Variable overheads is labor ka 80%. So it is 16. Fixed overheads is 21. So I get my total cost. correct? So 41, 57, 80, 137, correct? So this is my total joint cost. Now, what is the further data given in the sum? The further data that the sum gives me is how can process be given product wise. That is what is the joint cost, and that is what we have to do in apportionment. So initial processing cost तो totally होगा ना बेटा, because that is what is joint cost, and that is what we have to apportion. Now, this is the output. This is the current market price, correct? What further is given? The company apportions the common cost using the units basis. So that is fine. We have to apply the units ratio. All the byproducts can be further processed and sold at a higher market price. So whatever byproduct you are getting, you can do further processing with some sales promotion efforts. Fine. The estimated processing cost, marketing cost, and the final selling price. So all this data is after further processing. I think this is the selling price. No, all these are cost. And where is the selling price? Updating further processing final. Huh? Some problem is there. How can this be the final price? Because if my current price is 1820, how can this be the final price? Is there some typo? That is what happens many times. So this is the word file. How can final price be so less? No, there is some mistake. The final price cannot be so less. Okay, let me make some direct changes. So let us say 24, 620. Why am I not able to type? Problem, weird problem here. See, so somehow so these are the prices, students, because of some change in table setting. This was hidden. Make the corrections in the sheet, students, that you have. So the final prices are 28, 26, 34, and 6. Now, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to compute cost of joint products at the post-separation stage after initial processing, comment on the method of apportioning, etc., etc. Okay. Now, students, the first point is, now this is the proper sum of byproducts. And whenever there is byproduct, the first thing that we have to do is we have to take a decision as to whether I should consider the byproducts as main products or whether I should consider the byproduct as scrap. Now, in this sum, they have not mentioned it. That is what left to your understanding of the concept. So we just discussed how the byproducts are treated. On that understanding, what will you suggest? X is my byproduct. See the comparison of both the prices and the values and suggest what do you suggest me for the treatment of byproduct, whether it should be treated as main product or as scrap. You can write MP main product or you can write S for scrap. Super. Very good. Sukhveer, Dilip, Tambeshwari, Hardik, Kasak. Yes, Sania. Good. So, as you all can see, students, Manvi Beda, please understand this. that the prices of my main product is this. Even before processing, the prices are this. And even if I multiply by the quantities, I'll get a value which is very higher as compared to what I will get for X. So comparatively, the price of X, which is my byproduct, is very less. See, had it been somewhere in the range of 12, 15, I would have accepted it as the main product. See, at least it should be 50%, 60% of your main product price. If it is hardly 10, 15, 20% of the main product price, then I cannot consider it as main product. Yes, Rachna, correct. Bhavna, now you are right. So understand this. I will be treating this byproduct as scrap. So I'll first write that. So what I will write after my joint cost calculation, treatment of byproduct. Since the byproduct price value is insignificant as compared to the price or value of main products. Hence, byproduct X should be treated as scrap. So first thing that we concluded is our byproduct would be treated as a scrap. Now, once this is concluded, now the main question comes. You have to find out the cost of joint products. For this, you have to apportion the joint cost, and the method given in the question for joint cost apportionment is the physical units method. Fine. But again, the question comes that for apportioning this joint cost, now since X is to be treated as byproduct, I will not apportion any cost to X. Rather, I will reduce the sale value of X. But now the question is, which sale value should I reduce? I have sales value at split off. I also have sales value after further processing with some further processing cost. Now, which one should I reduce? So for this, please understand, I will also decide whether I should sell the scrap as it is or I should further process and sell. So decision about further processing of byproduct X. Now, how do you take decision? Students, we know the direct method. What is the direct method? Sales value after split off, after further processing minus sales value at split off. This is the extra benefit minus further processing cost. Now, instead of taking sales value, you can take selling price also because the quantity is same. So in order to save time, since the quantity will remain same, even at split off it is 500, further process also the quantity is not changing. So I'll take directly the selling prices, still the answer will be same. So 6 and 4. So 6 minus 4, this is this first part. So I'm just selling price after further processing, selling price at split off minus. What is my further processing cost? It is 2 and 1. So 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3 minus 3. So what will be my decision? My decision is byproduct X should be sold at split off point. So I will sell it at the split off point itself. I will not further process byproduct X. Now, once I have decided the basic part, the background part, now we will go to the solving part. So my point A requires me to apportion joint cost. Statement showing apportionment of joint cost. Particulars ABC, not to X because X is now treated as scrap. So I will apportion the net joint cost in ratio of physical units. And then I'll write down the ratio. What is the ratio? 5, 25. Okay, so 50, 25, 15. 50, 25, 15. For this, I need to first find out the net joint cost calculation. So what is my total joint cost? I had calculated it at 137 minus sales value of byproduct X. And we have decided to sell it at split off itself. So it will be 500 minus multiplied by 4. So it is 2000. So my net joint cost is 135, right? Now since my net joint cost is 135, now you apportion it in this ratio to get the joint cost of individual products. Okay, Sania has already given me answer. Sania says 75,000. 37,500. And further figure Sania is what? 22,500. Okay. So these are the apportioned joint cost figures. Good. Rameshwari is saying it is right. Good. Anybody else has calculated? Dilip is saying yes. Hardik is saying same. Manvi same. Kasak says right. प्रीति बेटा ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ बाय प्रोडक्ट सिंपल है. बाय प्रोडक्ट का ट्रीटमेंट कैसे होगा? आपको ये देखना है कि बाय प्रोडक्ट का जो सेल वैल्यू है वो मेन प्रोडक्ट के कंपैरिजन में कितना है. अब अगर आप क्वेश्चन देखोगे तो बाय प्रोडक्ट का सेल प्राइस लो 4 या मल्टीप्लाई करो सेल वैल्यू और उसको कंपेयर करो मेन प्रोडक्ट्स एबीसी के सेलिंग प्राइस या सेल्स वैल्यू से. सो बाय प्रोडक्ट का एटलीस्ट मेन प्रोडक्ट के कंपैरिजन में 50% तो हो ताकि हम उसको एक लेवल पे ट्रीट करें. वो तो हार्डली 20-25% से भी कम है क्योंकि बाय प्रोडक्ट का सेल वैल्यू बहुत कम है एज कंपेयर टू द मेन प्रोडक्ट. तो हमने बाय प्रोडक्ट का ट्रीटमेंट क्या डिसाइड किया है? वी विल ट्रीट इट एज स्क्रैप. राइट? यस, करेक्ट. Okay, so Nitin has got the same answer. Sukhveer has got the same answer. Good. So मेरे क्वेश्चन का फर्स्ट पार्ट हो गया. I've answered the first part of this question, which is I have apportioned the cost. However, there is one more question in the first part. Comment on the method of apportioning joint cost. Now, students, see, this is a theory question कि आपको कमेंट करना है. कमेंट हमेशा आपका एक ही रहता है. क्या? कि फिजिकल यूनिट्स मेथड अभी जो यहाँ पे है, physical units method for apportioning joint cost is suitable where the joint products are similar in nature. If the products are different, then sales value method should be adopted. So ये आपको जो उन्होंने कमेंट पूछा था कि कमेंट करो मेथड ऑफ joint cost apportionment पे, so this will be your answer. So all this is my answer for the first part. Correct, students? Now I go to the second part of my question. The second part of the question says profit if products are sold without further processing, and then the decision. I think this is simple. You all can find out the answer for this. So अब यहाँ पे आने के बाद आगे वाला पार्ट इज मैकेनिकल. एक, फर्दर प्रोसेसिंग किया तो क्या प्रॉफिट लॉस आएगा, और दूसरा डिसीजन कि किसको फर्दर प्रोसेस करे, किसको स्प्लिट ऑफ करे. अब ये सब कुछ आपका सिर्फ एबीसी के लिए होगा, क्योंकि एक्स का हमने पत्ता कट कर दिया है. वी हैव ऑलरेडी कंसिडर्ड एज स्क्रैप, उसका सेल वैल्यू माइनस कर दिया है. सो अब इसके आगे जो भी वर्किंग होगा प्रॉफिट का, डिसीजन मेकिंग का, इट इज ओनली अबाउट ए बी सी. आई होप दिस इज क्लियर टू एवरीवन. Yes, students. I hope this entire sum is clear. मैं वापस वो आगे वाले मैकेनिकल पार्ट पे नहीं जा रहा हूं, so that I could go to some other question. Excellent. Now, if I understood all this, let me take you to the last method of joint cost apportionment. अब joint cost apportionment के हमने जो methods पढ़े, physical unit, sales value split off, sales value further process, NRV. अब इसके अलावा जो एक और मेथड है, that is contribution margin method. As you will see, in majority of the sums that we have solved, this method was nowhere asked. It is very, very rarely asked, but again, we should know this method. अब ये मेथड काम कैसे करता है? फॉर द पर्पज ऑफ कंट्रीब्यूशन मार्जिन मेथड, आपको आपके जॉइंट कॉस्ट को स्प्लिट करना है इनटू वेरिएबल जॉइंट कॉस्ट एंड फिक्स्ड जॉइंट कॉस्ट. Now this I am solving the first sum, so we go back to the first sum. See, in this first sum, you will find that there was some breakup given of variable. Why this was given? This was given only exclusively for the purpose of margin method, right? Now, material 3 lakhs, labor 1.5, and out of the overheads, variable is 40%. So out of 1.5 lakhs, variable will be 40%, means it is 60,000, and this is 90,000, right? So I'll find out the variable portion. Variable portion is 3 plus 1.5 plus 60. 3 lakhs plus 1.5 lakhs का 40%. Material or overheads. Okay. So variable joint cost is 510. Fixed joint cost is 90. So you have to first make this working, this calculation, before you can go to the method. Now, how does margin method operates? Margin method says that we will apportion the joint cost in two parts. Variable will be apportioned in a different manner. Fixed will be apportioned in a different manner. So now here, when I prepare statement showing apportionment of joint cost. The first joint cost which I have to apportion is the variable. This method says, since variable cost has a direct linkage with the production units, so it should be apportioned in ratio of physical units. So what is this ratio? Ratio of physical units is 10, 15, 25, 10. 10, 15, 25, 10. Now you will use this ratio to apportion 5 lakhs 10,000, which is the variable joint cost portion. And whatever amount I am getting, I am calling it as part A. That is only the variable portion, right? So apportion this 510 in this ratio. How much you are getting? Tell me. Yes, beta, Hardik. In this method of contribution margin, variable cost is always apportioned in the ratio of units, because the logic given by contribution method is that since variable cost varies with the quantity produced, so the logic that is adopted by margin method is it is always suitable to adopt unit methods for the variable portion of your joint cost, right? Okay, so I'm getting answers. Pranav, Kasak, Preeti, Tambeshwari. Good. So Kavir, okay. So what are the answers given by all? I'm copying the first answer, which is given to me by Pranav. So Pranav says 85,000, 127,500, 212,500, and 85,000. Others, please check. So I'll check the answers, the other answers. Kasak has same. Preeti also has given same. So more or less everybody who has given me answer, Dilip, Niru, Manvi, Hardik, Nitin, Tambeshwari, Sania. Good. Preeti, all are giving me same answers. Fine. So it means this is the answer. Now, this is first part, that joint costs will be apportioned in the ratio of physical units. Now it says for apportioning the fixed portion of joint cost, you will find out the contribution. Now this is a new concept which you study in costing. Like how in accounts we find out first GP and then NP. In the similar fashion, costing also says we will find out profit of a product in two stages. First stage is the contribution of the product, contribution, or you can also call it as contribution margin. And the second stage is the profit. How costing find out contribution margin? It says take the difference between sales value and the variable cost. The difference between sales value and total cost is profit, but I don't want profit immediately. I want something in between. So firstly, I want only the difference between sales value and the variable cost. So I will take the sales value at split off. From this, I will deduct this variable joint cost, which we just computed. So I get this margin, right? So what is my sales value? We have already saw this sum. So I have the sales value at split off, right? Yeah. This is my sales value, 120, 240, 325, 120. 120, 240, 325. So these are my sales values. Now, when I reduce this variable portion of joint cost from sales values, what I get is the contribution. Same, yes, but Apriti, it is same means there is only one definition of contribution in costing, which is sales minus variable cost. Yes, Kasat, you should take the sales value at split off only, because as we have already discussed, sales value after further processing is not a correct approach while doing joint cost apportionment. So now I get the contribution margins. 35,000, correct? Then it is 112,500. Then it is again 112,500. And it is again 35,000. So these are my contribution margins. Now, they say that fixed joint cost, which is the B part, this has to be apportioned in ratio of the contribution margin, right? So what is the ratio of contribution margin? It is 35 is to 112.5 is to 112.5 is to 35. So it says the logic that is given by this method is the variable portion is to be apportioned in units. Why? Because variable cost changes with units. That is why I use the units ratio for variable cost. And margin is like your gross profit, or it is like how much each product contributes to the profit. So it is the margin of that product that you are earning. So it is saying apportion the fixed cost on the basis of how much each product can earn, so that what will happen, the product which is earning more will get a higher share of fixed cost, the product which is earning less will get a lower share of fixed cost. So it will be a reasonable apportionment. This is the ideology of this method. Personally, I don't approve this, and hence you will also find that even practically this method is very rarely followed, because the first division on the basis of physical units itself may not be very appropriate. Because again, what will happen, like in case of petrol, diesel, kerosene, where the products are very different, the major component of cost is generally the variable. The major cost will get apportioned on the basis of units, giving a wrong answer. So practically this method is not followed. It will be followed only where physical units method is appropriate. That is, all your products are similar in nature and value, right? So let us apportion this joint cost in this ratio. Tambeshwari, why you have given me only two figures? We have four, na? Okay, you may have calculated the first two figures. So I'll write down the figures. Okay, Preeti has given me all four. So the fixed joint cost given to me, 10,678. Oh, great. I forgot. The other two are same, so no need for you to type it again. Cool. So this is the division. First variable, second fixed, and then total joint cost will be A plus B. So it is 85 plus 10,678. So 95,678. 127,500 plus 134. It will be 161,822. Again 212 plus this, it will be 246,822. And 85 plus this, 95,678. So this is how, students, apportionment would be done. So how you find out the joint cost using the margin method? This is how it is done. variable using units, fixed using the margin, and then adding the both components will give you the total joint cost apportioned to each product. I hope this is understood by all. Everybody is clear with this working. Okay, super. So students, see, this is broadly the chapter of joint products, byproducts. We have more sums which you can practice. Okay, I'll just brief you some more sums. Now see, this is a sum. This is a sum which I got in some other module, some other book, where while computing NRV, you are also given the profit. See, how is NRV to be calculated? NRV is calculated as sales value after further processing minus further processing cost minus profit which is attributable to further processing. But this is never given in the sum, right? However, I have found out a sum where this is also given. So in that particular case, this sum gives you a brief idea about how this particular working of NRV would be done. So as you can see, Kumaresh Engineering produces 3 products ABC. Joint costs is given 12,600, fine. Then they have given you the details of subsequent processing cost and sales. So this is the subsequent processing cost. So this is your further processing cost. So see, these are your cost details. This is joint cost. This is further processing of A, further processing cost of B, and further processing cost of C. They have given you the sales value after further processing, and most importantly, they have given you the profit margin. Now here, when I have to find out NRV, how I'll find out NRV? So we are doing statement of apportionment of joint cost. Now in this, if I have to find out NRV, the format is sales value after further processing minus further processing cost minus profit, which is now given in the sum. So what are the sales value given? 10, 7, 6. So 10,000, 7,000, 6,000 is the sales value. How much is further processing? 100, 1,000, 900, 600. And what is the margin? 20%, 30%, 40%. So 20%, 30%, and 40%. Now what I get is NRV. It is 7,000. Here it is 4,000. And here it is 3,000. So students, this 12 sum, which I borrowed from some other book, is just to give you the picture of what you read in theory about NRV. That NRV is computed by deducting two things. One is all types of further processing costs, which may be production, marketing, etc. And if there is any specific profit margin attributable, this is all used, but that you can reduce only when it is given in the sum, like it is given in this sum, right? Kasak, while calculating profit, the same joint cost is deducted. Yes, but that is all. Anyways, Kasak, you always do na, while computing profits, whatever is your joint cost, that is deducted from respective sales value, one at split off, one after further processing. Now, in case of margin method, the only difference is you computed joint cost in two parts, but then you add it. That is why I've added and found out the total joint cost. Now, for all further workings of profits, you'll use the same combined total joint cost. right? Is this clear, students? Kasak, clear? Great. Okay. And then I've also taken one more interesting sum. See, this sum is again on the same lines. I've given profit percentage. So here also NRV is calculated by taking the difference. Now this is one more different sum. This is the sum where I have combined both the chapters. So as you can see, what does the question says? 3 joint products are produced by passing a chemical through 2 consecutive processes. Output from process 1 goes to process 2, from which 3 products are produced. So process 2 becomes your split off. Correct? And then they are immediately sold at the split off itself. The data relating to the processes for the month is given below. Process 1, process 2. Right? Direct material, direct labor, overheads, normal loss, scrap value, output. So if you recall, we are going back to our process costing days. So if I solve this 17 sum here, I will first start with my process account. Now, they do not want to complicate the sum more. So they have not taken opening closing WIP because that would have increased your working off process, which they generally do not want here. So simply to direct material, direct labor, and your factory overheads. Quantity is 2,500, price is 4, so the value is 10,000. So 2,500, 10,000. 6250, 4,500. Correct. Normal loss 10% of input. 10% of this comes to 250. Then 2 rupees per kg scrap value. So multiplying the by 2, it is 500. Correct. Now, there is nothing given about abnormal loss closing WIP. So simply this entire becomes your process 2250. Correct? Because they have not given, oh, sorry, there is this quantity. Fine. Again, 1 second. So there could be effect of abnormal. Now, is the status, if this is the quantity of output given, then I have abnormal gain. How much? 50 units. So I do the working calculation of cost per unit. How cost per unit is done? Total cost minus scrap value of normal loss upon input minus scrap value normal loss units. Correct? Total is this 10, 16, 20, 27, 50 minus 500, which is the scrap value, upon input quantity is 2,500 minus 250. Students, tell me what is the cost per unit? Good. So the answers that are posted is 9. Now I'll do valuation. Valuation, 2 units have to be valued. One is process 2 units and the abnormal gain units. Process 2 is 2,300 into 9. Abnormal gain is 50 into 9. Correct? So 23,000 minus 2,300. So it is 2,700. Correct? And this is 450. So 2700 and this is 450. Process 1 closed. Then you come to process 2. So it comes with process 1. It starts with process 1, taking this 2300 units, which we have costed and valued at 2700. Then the other cost are wages, overheads, direct labor, and 2 factory overheads. Okay. So no losses, so no scrap value. So nothing is in loss. 1 second. Joint products are 900, 600, 800. So the total is 9, 6, 15, 15, 8, 2300. So total output is 2300. So there is no question of any abnormal gain or loss. So nothing normal was there. Also, there is no abnormal. So my costing is very simple. I simply make the total of my cost. So total is 20, 26, 32, 32, 18, 25, 32 is 34, 500. Correct? So 34, 500 is my total cost. And this also becomes the total cost of my output. Now see, what I get is my total joint cost, which is rupees 34,500, which I've got from process costing, right? So this is how both these chapters are merged, because actually joint products comes after process. So after process, at the end of the process, you get your final product, which is now not one product, it is 3 products, A, B, C. But in process costing, we are not required to do the breakup. Now the next part, after I have found out the total cost through the process costing method, now what I will do is I will move ahead. So first they have asked me to prepare process 1 together with abnormal gain, loss, etc. Then the statement showing profit of each joint products if the joint costs are apportioned either in units method or market value method. So now once I've got joint cost, now I'll start my working of this chapter. So statement of apportionment. What are my products? A, B, C. The first method is joint cost in ratio of units. Second method is joint cost in ratio of sales value. What is the ratio of units, students? 9, 8, 6. So 9 is to 8 is to 6. This is the ratio of units. You will divide this 34,500 in this ratio. Second is the ratio of sales value. What are the selling prices? 24, 18, 12. So 900 into 24, 800 into 18, 600 into 12. This will give you your sales values, which will become your ratio. Correct? Chalo, tell me. Now, how will I get profits? That is sales value minus the joint cost. Okay. Students, what are the sales values? Okay, 21,600. 14,400. 7,200. 21,600. 14,400. 7,200. So my ratio here would be 21,600. 14,400. 7,200. Correct? So joint cost apportion figures which I'm getting from different students is this. This is by the units method, right? Also give me by the sales value method. Okay. By the sales value method, Rachna has given me 17 to 50, 11,500. Okay. Okay. So now my profits. Profits here are 8,100 to 400. Loss 1,800. Correct? 4, 350. Then 2, 900. And so these are my profits under both the methods. So first is physical units method. Second is sales value method. So this is the complete answer, students, for this question, where first you are supposed to do process costing to find out the total cost, joint cost. And then after that, we did the apportionment under both the methods, right? Okay, I'll also write here the values 17 to 50, 11,500, 5,750. Is this clear to all students? So we have solved all possible types of sums from this chapter, from very basic, even to the advanced ones, even to the different ones, with byproduct adjustment, with process costing adjustment. So everything we have covered in detail. So I hope the entire subject chapter is clear to you all. So with the students, let us close today's session. Let us sign off for today. And again, requesting you all to please practice thoroughly. Keep on solving. That will help you augment your knowledge. Don't worry, Preeti. Every chapter has some or the other technical aspects. See, you are at a professional level. So you have to be ready to accept technical, so-called difficult things. Because until unless our things are difficult, people will not come to you. So today, what is difficult, tomorrow is going to become your main hatyar of earning. If things are simple, Preeti, nobody will come to you. They will do it themselves. No? Now, anyways, they have so many Google assistants, they have so many AI assistants. Why they will come to you? They will still come to you because things are not so simple. Google cannot answer, or any AI tool cannot answer anything which is different. They can only answer things which are repetitive. So don't worry. With practice, you will groom yourself and you will also become expert. So thank you, students. Thank you very, very much. Keep studying, keep working hard. Thank you, technical team. We can close for today. Thank you. Bye-bye.